Hey everybody, Mark here again. Hey, so today I'm going to talk about Viper's products, their different versions of the Viper car. I've had a few people reach out and ask me questions about the Viper chassis and what you need to really run them well. So I thought I would do a video discussing the different versions of their chassis, how much they cost, and the performance differences that you get with each higher version of their chassis. So if you go to viperscaleracing.com and go to shop and go down to race ready cars, click on Viper. These are all their offerings: Formula V, the modified, Polymod, Retro V, Viper Jet, V Spec. They have a few even higher end cars that they started building for club racing that are built to certain specs for different class racing. But I'm not going to go over those cars. I'm going to focus mostly on the V spec, the modified, and the Polymod. Um, the Viper Jet and the retro cars are, I think those are brass weight cars. So I'm not going to discuss those either. Don't have any experience with those. The Formula V is basically a Formula One body that they offer on basically the V spec chassis. So let's talk about the V spec. This is their basically their standard or their lowest end car. It's 40 basically $45 for just the chassis. You can get it with or without the Lexan body posts if you want to run like AFX bodies or other bodies. You can run Formula One bodies on here, or if you put the AFX body clip, you can run pretty much any AFX body, or Auto World, or anything that would run on an AFX type Super G Plus car. Um, you can get the V spec with a Lexan body. They have three different bodies to choose from, and you're getting up to around the $63 range for that car. So definitely a little bit higher end, a little bit higher cost on these cars, but you really are getting what you pay for. These cars, they're built very well. Very rare that you'll get a Viper car that doesn't run well right out of the package. You're not going to have the quality control issues that you see with other mass manufactured cars. So you know, yep, they cost more, but I think you get what you pay for. I'm a big fan of the Viper car. I really always love the Super G Plus chassis, and the Viper chassis just takes it to the next level. So the next class up, so the V Spec car, I don't know if I went over, that's a 6 ohm car, 6 ohm motor with Pro 4 um, motor and traction magnets. So definitely the car geared more for your home plastic like AFX type track. And if you're running stock power, the V spec is probably going to be your best choice for your home track. Um, None of these cars will run well with the AFX 120 ohm controller that comes with the newer AFX track kits. So, be warned, the 120 ohm controller will not give you a good experience with any of these Viper chassis. You'll definitely want to get a better controller to run these chassis. So the next class up from the V spec is the Viper modified, and you're getting up to around $70 just for the chassis, and closer to $88 if you want it with a Lexan body. The modified car comes with a 3 ohm armature and Pro 10 motor and traction magnets. So I believe the V spec and the modified are running the same medium class chassis with the same front end and rear end on the car. The next class up, when you get into the Polymod class, you're getting into $90 just for the chassis. They don't offer it with the body, so you'd have to supply your own body. But you are getting down into a 2.5 ohm wide gap, high output armature, big brush tweaked end bell. Um, Same Pro 10 motor and traction magnets that are in the modified car. This does have stiffer, firmer albino tires on it, but you're definitely getting into a lower ohm motor armature car that is definitely going to require a better upgraded power supply to really run well. Um, Both the modified and the polymod cars, if you're running if you have like the AFX dual power terminal track where you could run one power pack to each lane, you can probably get away with that and run these cars. But when I run these cars, the 3 ohm modified and the 2.5 ohm cars, they do draw over an amp pretty consistently. So having upgraded power will definitely benefit you when you start getting into below 6 ohm type armature cars. So I have the V-Spec car. These I did order without the Lexan body posts. They basically just snip them off, and you could run. I think you actually have to purchase the body clip. It doesn't come with the AFX body clip, so you'll need to make sure you get the body clip. You can run the AFX Formula One bodies right on the Viper chassis without the clip. But if you want to run any other type of AFX or Auto World bodies, you'll need that clip. Um, the next class up is the 3 ohm modified car. I did order these with the Lexan body posts and with the Lexan bodies. These are the cars we run quite a bit because my kids like how fast they go and like how strong the magnets are. So we have a lot of fun with them on this track. They really run well on the Viper routed track. Um, these other cars are cars that I built. Well, one of them, this car I bought off of eBay, the chassis from DC Race Jet, I think is his name on eBay. This came with a 2.5 ohm modified Trude armature. It has Pro 25 Palmer magnets, a stiffer rear end setup, and I put actually a Viper independent aluminum front end on here with albino stiffer front tires. I then built my own 2.5 ohm armature car. I actually bought, DC Race Jet. He sells some good upgrade packages. Like if you want to buy a motor package, he sells the armature with ball bearing bearings, the rear end setup. So I kind of used some of his parts with the Viper parts and Viper chassis to build my own higher end cars. But these two cars are both running 2.5 ohm and Pro 25 uh, Palmer magnets, traction magnets, and Pro 10 motor magnets. And this car I built the 2 ohm NSX turbo armature with level 35 neodyme magnets. Same rear end. This rear end setup I actually got from DC Race Jet as well. I think this has BSRT hubs, and I'm not sure. These are definitely firm tires for higher downforce cars. And this has a Wizard aluminum independent front end on it. So yeah, these cars are definitely a different class of car. But I thought I would go ahead and pause the camera, get it set up, get a view of the track, and I'll run some laps and we'll show some times for the different class chassis. All right, guys, so we're back. We got a view of the track going. Going to go ahead and run the V-Spec car first, just so you can kind of get an idea how that runs. Now I have DeFalco controllers. This is the DD505. This is pretty much their lowest end controller. It's about an $80 controller. It does have sensitivity setting, but it does not have any braking. I had bought these back when I was just running my stock AFX terminal track. So you will need to splice in your own AFX terminal onto the wire so you could plug it into your AFX track. But I think this is a great controller for your home AFX track. This is a little bit higher end DeFalco controller. This is the DD501. This is a 30 band controller, wired for braking. So I might pick up a couple of more of these controllers for this new track so I could put my other controllers back on the AFX track. But we'll go ahead and run a few laps with the V-Spec. Oh, and we're off. So the V-Spec car, does require that you drive the car. It's not a super high downforce car, but it's fun to race. I mean, it's got plenty of speed, and don't get me wrong, it's got pretty good traction magnets. So, and this car is running in like the 3.5 range, 3.5 second range on my track here. Let's try running on the white lane. Yep, 3.5 second range. I think this is probably the best chassis for your home AFX track if you're running stock AFX Power Pack. Again, none of these cars will run well with the 120 ohm controller, so just keep that in mind. If you have the older AFX controller, you can probably get away with running the 6 ohm armature car with that controller. I think those were like a 45 or a 60 ohm. I don't remember exactly, but they definitely were much lower ohm than the 120 ohm controller. The next car up, the 3 ohm modified car, you're kind of getting into a definitely a different class of car. This car will definitely benefit from having a higher, better power supply. So. So yeah, these cars are fun. My gang likes to drive. My kids like to drive those cars because they like how fast they are, and they like that they don't fall off as much. So, and then once you get below the 3 ohm, when you start getting into these 2.5 ohm and the higher downforce magnet type cars, this is a whole different class of a car. Yeah, I'm doing 2.2, 2.3 seconds without even really trying on these cars. And when you get down into like the 2 ohm Neo car, it's even faster. Just did 2.1 second lap with that. I probably need to clean the track and my car tires. So, but yeah, there you have it. I mean, you're for your home track, again, I think the V-Spec car, you can maybe get up into the 3 ohm modified with the level 10 motor and traction magnets. But I think anything faster and stronger magnet than the modified car, you're getting into a different class of car, and they really don't run well on your home plastic track. When I run these cars, the higher downforce cars on my AFX track, my AFX track is not mounted to the table, so it makes the track come apart. That literally separates the track sections, and all of a sudden the car will stop and I have to find where the track came apart and clip it back together. And again, these cars will definitely benefit from having a higher output upgraded power supply. I'm running a 30-volt variable 10 amp supply on my track. And again, you'll want to have a better controller to really run these cars well. Um, and when I talk about neodyme, I know like the newer AFX cars run neodyme magnets, but the level 32 or level 42 neodyme magnets that are in your Mega G and Mega G Plus cars are not the same level of downforce as a level 35 neodyme magnet that's in these Viper cars. These are much stronger magnets. So. But yeah, there you have it. That's kind of a quick review of all the different Viper chassis that they offer. Again, for your home type track, I think the V-Spec is probably more than enough car for you. They run real well on pretty much the stock AFX power that's supplied with their tracks, but you will want to get a better controller, especially if you're running the 120 ohm controller that comes with the AFX track. But all right, if you guys have any questions, hit me up in the comments section. And again, I appreciate everybody checking out my videos, and I really appreciate all your support. And we'll talk with you guys soon.